Well, let's jump into another question from the audience here that wrote in. On this one, I'm just going to squish these two together because they seem like they're similarly related. So this one is around video and audience. So I've been creating video content for quite a while on YouTube, but haven't had much success in developing a following. Do you have any advice to help me gain some traction and find my audience? So that's part one to the question. These are actually two different people, but it kind of goes together. Part two is, it seems like there's so many people creating videos about the subject I'd like to teach about. Is it worth it for me to continue creating videos on this topic, or should I pick something else that I might be less interested in, but has less competition? So two very similar questions. One, how do I find my audience? Two, how do I find my topic in doing video productions? So any of you want to jump in first? All right, Shayla, come on down. She pushed the buzzer first, folks.
Well, the second one, it's real quick, but like, I mean, some people can sustain working on something that they're not interested in, but that was an immediate flag for me. Like, should I do something that seems like it's got less competition? It's like, listen, anything you're going to do, there's going to be competition, and anything you do, you can find a way to stand out. So that's my initial impulse around that, is like, if you're not that interested, it's going to be doing videos and teaching your thing and building. If you don't care about it, you're not going to be weathering the storms that come with building an audience. And then the practical, tactical advice, if this is auto repair, which I know nothing about, but I might watch a YouTube video if I wanted to know something about it. And so one of the things that I would suggest doing is, when you feel like there is a saturated market, whether it's auto repair YouTube or coaching industry, or like, we can look at anything and go, oh, but there's so many, what's my place? And I think that's the question, is, what is your place? What's your unique thing? What is your style? What's your way that maybe not nobody is doing, but very few are doing in the way that you're doing it? And if you don't know, here is a practice that you could do. I would suggest that you go and check out a bunch of different auto repair YouTube channels and watch a few of each person's. And as you watch them, go, what's their unique angle? What's their style? Like their voice and style and the way that they approach it. What are the things that they're doing really strong? And what do I see as an expert in my field is kind of missing? And do that with multiple people. And now you've got a little bit of a map and a sense of like research of what other people's unique things are and where you see the gap. And then you can, because sometimes we can't always see what our unique voice and style and way is. But by noticing that each of these different YouTube auto repair experts have their own, then you start to go, oh, what's mine? And an extra bonus of doing this practice is, say you do that across 5 people and you notice in your notes that is there some thing that you noticed was missing across the board that you feel strong about or have an expertise in? That is a possible way to target your angle of how you want to show up and teach about auto repair. So those are my thoughts.
Neil, you've been down the YouTube rabbit hole for a long time.
Yeah, I think those are great thoughts, Shayla. I agree. With an oversaturated market like that, I always think of the analogy of Italian restaurants, right? There's a billion of them. They all serve just about the same thing. They got spaghetti, they have lasagna, they have chicken cacciatore or whatever. But everybody has their favorite Italian restaurant, no matter who it is, the one they love to go to. And it could be the atmosphere, it could be the people there, it could be the music they play, it could be close to their house, convenient. So, think of it like that. Like, you may be doing something similar, but they're going to go for you, for the way you do it. And I'll echo what Shayla said again about the saying, the riches are in the niches, right? Like, you could do auto repair or whatever it is. And maybe you just niche down auto repair on Subarus, auto repair in 5 minutes, auto repair with all the wrong tools, auto repair to music, to song or something. I don't know. These are just, ideas where you can take this one topic and kind of focus it a little bit more to get to stand out. And for the first part, I guess, if you're looking to build your audience, there's three things you can look at. They're not clicking on it, they're not watching the whole thing, or they're not finding it interesting enough to subscribe. So you can look at your analytics for a lot of these things in YouTube. Look to see the click-through rate, like from the instances of your thumbnail showing up. If people aren't clicking on it, it might just be the thumbnail that isn't enticing enough for them to click on. Or if they're watching a couple seconds of it and then bouncing off, maybe it's boring. I don't know. I don't know how to better say that. Maybe you need to sit with somebody, show it to a bunch of friends, show it to people that you don't know, and say, could you just give me some critical feedback on this? Like, what do you think? And hopefully they can tell you what might be missing, why people are bouncing off. And yeah, if you also do it consistently enough that people will want to subscribe, if you get through those two obstacles, and then people are watching it but they're not subscribing, just keep going, just keep doing it, and encourage them to subscribe, and try to have a consistent posting schedule, so people will expect it. They'll be like, oh, I want to make sure every day I get that video from them or from you, or every week or whenever it is. That's why I subscribe to people. I know that they're going to post every day, or on Fridays they're going to post and stuff like that. So that's my advice on those two things.
I think it was just yesterday. So a guy with a really great channel on entrepreneurship, Matt Giovanisi, his brand is Money Lab. And so he just comes up with all these different experiments to find ways to generate revenue with his business. He's got multiple different brands. He has one about like cleaning your pool, which he started years ago, I think called Swim University. That kind of got him started on this journey. He has a new one called Brew Cabin that he does all this home brewing stuff, and he does these home videos for his home brewing stuff. But then he also has courses that just teach entrepreneurs how to create online. So in his most recent experiment, it was around caring. So the difference between when he really cares about a creative project versus when he's just making it to say that, okay, I made another thing, I'm going. And this is something I've been saying for a lot of years. It's like, don't make content, make art. So find your own artistic expression. And so what happened for him in this experiment, he said usually like in the videos that he was doing for like his Instagram reel, they might take him up to an hour to make. But in this one, he really geeked out. He got lost in the creative process, and he says somewhere around 5 or 6 hours making this one video for his Instagram reel about this new brewing method or type of, I can't remember the type of beer or whatever it was. But he said he spent 5 to 6 hours in the creative process, and this video went viral. And it got tons of exposure, tons of traffic, lots of new people finding his page. And he said the difference for me is just give a shit. And if you really care about if you get more focused on the creative process of building a work of art and less focused on getting the work done or getting as many clicks or comments as you possibly can, if you just make the art because you love this topic, you love creating things for people, that energy is going to come through the final product of what you're putting out there. And then the other piece that I'll say is post across multiple platforms. So if you're making a video for YouTube, how can you take that same asset and post it on all the other channels you might be on? So posting it on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, etc., wherever you are, that can also help. And then the other piece is looking at all of the top channels in the realm that you're in. What do their thumbnails look like? What tags are they using? Notice how they do the descriptions inside of the scope of the thing. What are they calling the titles of their videos? So just pay attention to what some of the top YouTubers in your world are doing and start to copy some of those things, because they're 100 steps ahead of you in understanding the YouTube algorithm and how to create searchable things that people are looking for. So don't necessarily copy exactly, but mirror what they're doing. Because those people are industry mirrors. They're not your competition. They're just mirrors, and they can teach you if you pay attention to what they're doing.
I'll just add that I think what everybody's been talking about is that might be helpful to go through a branding process. So that is what happens in a branding, journey, is that hopefully you explore what is it that makes you unique, your content unique. What is that specific niche that you are actually carving out? And it's a great time to do that once you already have a little bit of content and you have a body of work, because then an outside perspective looking in can give you that piece that you're missing to really differentiate it and make it resonate. So I think that alignment process is what gives so much more power when you're putting any kind of message out there. And I think that what we talked about on Tuesday, which is the most powerful question you can ask, is why, not what. You're not just teaching the thing. It's like that heart and soul that's behind the reason why you're teaching the thing is the thing that people connect to. And the people I follow that I'm interested in, it's like it's not just an interior design TikTok. It's because she's empowering women to DIY their own house projects, and that's what is missing, I think, maybe from the people go out and create content. They're focused on what they want to create, but not why somebody would want to engage and consume the content and really pay attention on an ongoing basis. So anyway, I think a branding process, maybe talking to somebody and figuring out what your unique essence is and how to communicate it more powerfully would be helpful.
And there you have it. There's some advice on finding your audience and finding your topic and getting more exposure through the channels and the work that you're doing. Do it as an experiment. Just focus on these things. And for the first advice with Chela gave about studying 5 people in your industry, just put it in your calendar that you're going to watch YouTube for 90 minutes and study some of these other people in your industry, and just schedule that in as a task and take lots of good notes while you're doing it. And I bet you're going to learn and discover a lot and get inspired on how you can upgrade what you're doing for yourself.